Hello, friends. We're going to do some writing today. So what you are going to need is your pencil box with your crayons and markers and colored pencils in it. You are going to need your writing folder with your books inside and your letter chart. And you're also going to need some new paper for writing on today. So last week, very early in the week, I had you listen to a story called Stick and Stone. If you can't really remember what that story is, pause the video right now. Go back to, I think it was last Monday. You're going to have to go back a few days in the virtual classroom and find Stick and Stone. Okay? It's a cute book. And I asked you to go on to Seesaw and draw me pictures and talk to me about Stick and Stone. So if you cannot remember that book, please go watch it right now. Okay, you're back. So Stick and Stone, the focus activity that you did on Seesaw that day was to retell me the story, Stick and Stone. And you retell me the story starting at the beginning and telling me about what happened in the beginning, and then what happened in the middle, and then what happened at the end. Okay? And so what I want to talk about are, because I did look at what you posted on Seesaw, and you guys did a nice job. You did do a nice job. But I do want to talk about some of the things that you didn't put into your retell of Stick and Stone to me. So for the most part, in the beginning, you girls both said that in the beginning, and I love that you both said that, in the beginning, Stone and Stick were both sad and lonely. They were. Stone and Stick were both very sad and very, very lonely. But eventually, and this is an important part, but eventually, one day, they met each other. And Stone, I know it's a weird stone, and Stick, maybe I should make my stick a little bit wavier then. There we go. Met each other, right? They met each other and they became friends. Now your pictures are much, 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 much better than my pictures. But I'm doing it this way because I want to get through this quickly. I love your pictures. So Stone and Stick were both sad and both lonely. But then one day they met each other and they became really good friends. And then they would play together all the time. Okay? That's basically what happens in the beginning of Stick and Stone. We have the loneliness, we have the meeting, and then we have a friendship. That's the beginning of Stick and Stone. The middle. This is the part that both of you kind of skipped. The middle is what we would call the excitement part, the suspenseful part. Usually in the middle of all stories that are like a narrative type story where they're telling a story, there's usually what they call either a climax or a suspenseful part. It's the most exciting part. It's the part that has you kind of biting your nails, wondering what's going to happen, or sitting at the end of your chair, wondering what's going to happen, or you can't wait to turn the page to know what happens next, right? So in the middle of the story, there was a storm. There was a big, big storm, like a hurricane storm. And it was so big that Stone and Stick got separated from each other. Stick got blown away. So Stone was over here and Stick was all the way over here. He got blown away, right? because there was a bad storm and they couldn't find each other and they were really sad, right? That's what happens in the middle. The big exciting part, the big storm. What was a result of that big storm? Stick and Stone got separated from each other and they couldn't find each other. Okay? So then the only thing left is the end. What happened at the end? Well, Stick got stuck in a puddle, right? And Stone jumped in the puddle and got Stick out, right? Stone jumped in the puddle and got Stick out. Stone found Stick. And so they were together again. Okay? So this was just like a quick illustration retell of the story. Your pictures are obviously going to be a lot better than these, but I just wanted to give you how that book has a very clear beginning, a very clear middle, and a very clear ending. And you guys did a great job with your retell. You just kind of forgot about the storm. And the storm was the most important part because the storm is what caused Stick and Stone to be separated again. Okay, so it was a suspenseful, biting your nails, wondering what's going to happen next. That's called a climax, okay? A lot of stories, just about any good story has that climax. Think about, let me think of a movie that both of you girls probably know. What's a story that you guys both know? I don't know, maybe Frozen. So what happens in the beginning of Frozen, right? They're happy and all of that lovely stuff. And then they grow up and then there's this big argument, right? The big argument between Anna and Elsa because Elsa doesn't want to share her secret with Anna and she doesn't want Anna to get hurt because she can't control her magic. So they have this big argument, right? And then they kind of separate from each other and Elsa goes away. So this is where that suspenseful part is in the middle of the movie. And then we know what happens in the end is that Elsa realizes that it's love that will help her control her powers, not anger. And so, I mean, it's like that. So you have your beginning where everything's pretty happy and calm and everything's, slowly but surely things are starting to heat up. And then all of a sudden there's a big problem, a big incident or a big something suspenseful that happens. Elsa leaves. She has a castle. There's a big snow monster. Anna's running after her, trying to find her. And there's like this big conflict. And then eventually it all works itself out again in the end, okay? So, when we tell our stories, we don't always have to have that big conflict in the middle, but when we tell our stories, we do need to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. So I know that Halloween was just the other day. Maybe you have a story that you could tell me about Halloween. Or I know that if you didn't do Halloween, we still did have a weekend and it was a pretty nice weekend. So what did you do this weekend that you could tell me a story about? Maybe you visited a relative's house. Or you had family come over for dinner and you played with some cousins. Or maybe, another story that I know another kiddo in my class is going to tell it because they just got a new pet. So they're telling the story of a new pet that they just got, right? So we're gonna practice this today with a beginning, a middle, and an end. But what I would like you to do is I would like you today to first think about what it is that you would like to write about. Okay? Think about it. And then what I want you to do is start at the beginning. And a good way for especially kindergartners to start a story at the beginning is to start with the setting. Okay? So setting means where were you and about what time was it? So was it like last night, and the setting is where, right? So last night I was at grandma's house, right? And we're telling these stories with our mouths, okay? With our voice. I don't expect you to write all of those words just yet. But I do want you to draw the pictures as, so you're saying the story and you can draw the picture that goes with the story. So we're going to work on just beginnings right now. So let's see. Where's my pencil box? Right here. So I'm going to start a story and give you an example of what this would look like. Just the beginning. This is what I'm going to work on today. So let's see. I'm going to tell a story of, let's see. See, even Mrs. Lewis has to think. I'm a teacher, and I still have to think about what I want to write about, and that's perfectly normal. That's what writers do. Okay? All right. Ooh, I think I'm going to write about the time when I went to Baxter State Park to climb the mountain. I like that story. That's a good story. All right. It was the first time I had ever done it. So it's pretty exciting for me. So now I have to think about what happened first, right? What happened first? What was the beginning of my story? Well, the beginning of my story, I guess, would be when we got to Baxter State Park, okay? And now I have to think, what time of day was it? Oh, it was early in the morning. It was so early in the morning, it was still dark when we left, okay? And we got to Baxter State Park, and notice how I'm talking. I'm telling the story using my memories. Okay, this is called oral language. It's very important. I got to Baxter State Park, and I remember the first thing that we all had to do, because it was a long drive, was use the bathroom. That was the first thing we all had to do. So I just used the word first. That's a perfect way to start my story. Okay? So it can sound like this. One day, really early in the morning, me and my family went to Baxter State Park. When we got there, we all had to use the bathroom. And this is really going to stick in my brain forever. Okay, this was a long time ago, but it's really going to stick in my brain forever. Because when we got there, we had to use the bathroom. So, if you've ever been to Baxter State Park, you would know that the bathrooms are not regular bathrooms, are they? It was an outhouse. This was a long time ago. And I remember the outhouse kind of had like a hole in the door. And the roof was kind of shaped like that. Okay? And then there was a door. Maybe like that. Okay? just like that. And so we got there and we had to use the bathroom. And let me tell you what, I was not impressed about having to use an outhouse for a bathroom. I'm going to put my hands on my hips and I'm going to pretend I'm saying, oh no, I'm not using an outhouse for a bathroom. This was a long, long time ago. Okay? Now we just learned about drawing people and stuff, right? You can use your drawing people pages from Mrs. Howe's, right? And I was kind of mad. So I can give myself some mad face, right? Some hair. Now today in writing, I'm just going to have enough time probably to get my little outline done. I'm probably not going to have time to do all of my beautiful details. But at least if I get the outline done, perfect. So again, this is how my stories sound. When we tell stories, we use our voice, because we're storytellers, and we have some pictures to go with what we're saying. So one day, really early in the morning, my family and I went to Baxter State Park. I can't even remember how long ago this was. And when we first got there, I remember I had to use the bathroom. And I was mad because I did not want to have to use an outhouse. And I remember behind the outhouse, or actually it was right near, like growing up the side of the outhouse. See, these are all memories that I have. Was a big tree. So that's a detail that my memory has, right? Your memory has details too. But see, what Mrs. Lewis did is I took time to think about it, okay? I took time to think about it, and that's what you have to do too, okay? And I was probably wearing jeans. So I'll give myself some jeans, because I always wear jeans. And I'm sure I was wearing a sweatshirt of some kind. I'll give myself a purple sweatshirt, like that. And so that could be page 1 of your story, and this is part of the beginning. It's not the whole beginning, but it's part of the beginning. Right? The beginning can be more than 1 page, but there's a clear section of what happens in the beginning and what happens in the middle and what happens in the end. Okay? And this is actually a pretty interesting story. Well, now that I think about it, there's a lot of fun things that happened that day. So this is going to be fun to write, but this is what I want you to work on today. I want you to think of a story. Could be something that you did just this weekend. It could be something that you remember from last year. Whatever you want to talk about. Maybe you went on a big trip to Disneyland. You want to tell me the story about it, okay? And start with the beginning, okay? It doesn't have to be just 1 page. If that's all you get done today is 1 page, that's okay. But tell me the story. Work on your storytelling words, and we will go from there. I will keep working on this, and I will see you next time. I cannot wait to see what you're going to write about. All right? And remember, take your time to think about it and make sure that it's an actual story that you can tell. And it's a story that has different things that happened, maybe a hunting story or a birthday party story. Okay? All kinds of things that we do that we can tell stories about. So, have fun. Work on the beginning. All right? All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.